Go. Half a dozen states holding their primary elections tomorrow, and voters will elect their Democratic and Republican candidates for U.S. Senate and House races. So polls open across several states: New Jersey, South Dakota, New Mexico, Montana, California, and Iowa. So let's go live to CBS News Executive Director of White House and Politics, Fin Gómez. So start us out in California, my friend. A lot of people wondering who's going to be California's next governor.
Hey, Reed. Yeah, happy Election Day Eve. Look, there's several states, as you said, voting tomorrow, but there are two big ones that I'm particularly watching, two states that have big races, and that's California and Iowa. In California, there's been a big gubernatorial race all year. The latest polls show Becerra with a clear lead heading into Election Day. Javier Becerra, the former HHS secretary, he's sitting at about 25% Reed in the latest USC Berkeley poll, which is a significant surge. If you recall, back in March, he was hovering somewhere around 5%. So what really drove these Democratic base voters to Becerra was when Eric Swalwell exited the race, and that in turn, a lot of his supporters in that sort of centrist, moderate lane, establishment wing of the party turned to Becerra, and now he's sort of risen in the polls. We're also watching two other candidates, and that's the Republican Steve Hilton, the former Fox News commentator, and Democratic billionaire Tom Steyer. Now, Tom Steyer, of late, in the last week or two, you've seen him sort of surge, and as he fights for that second spot. And this is, of course, this is one of my favorite primaries because of the jungle rules here. The jungle primary here in California for this governor's race means that the two final contenders out of the primary get to go and move on to the November ballot, regardless of party. So there could be a scenario when it's a Democrat and a Republican, or maybe two Republicans. Not as likely, but that is really where the angling begins and continues as we pivot from tomorrow into the general election.
All right, staying on the West Coast, you and I don't normally focus in on mayoral races, but a reality TV star has the eyes of the nation on that L.A. mayor's race. What do polls show?
Well, Reed, I geek out on dog catcher races, right? So it's all kinds of municipal races. But you're right. This LA mayoral race has gained a lot of national headlines. And you can even see it's a tight race. The latest Berkeley LA Times poll has the incumbent Mayor Karen Bass, council member Nithya Rockman, and reality TV star turned outsider candidate Spencer Pratt. They're basically all hovering real close to each other. Just a couple point cap between the two ahead of Election Day. Pratt, as you know, has really centered his campaign on his criticism against the established leadership, the Democratic Party leadership in LA. And really what started his race was after he lost his family's home in the Pacific Palisades fire. And if you remember, in this race, if no one clears 50%, the top two advance in November. So there's a good shot that Spencer Pratt, who has really gained because of his outsider image, really hitting that zeitgeist right now that we're seeing, where there are voters out there who are so disaffected, angry at whomever's in leadership, regardless of party. He's sort of galvanized and connected to that side of the electorate that we're seeing this cycle. Reed.
Definitely one to watch. Okay, so let's talk about the state of Iowa. They kick off a sprint in November with competitive House races and a Senate race that could actually tip the balance of power in Congress. So what are you watching in Iowa?
Reed, I love being on your show because you know so much about politics, and there's no other state, I think, that I get so interested in their politics as I do Iowa. Iowa is, of course, so important on the electoral map. But and Iowa has a lot riding on in this primary. Both the governor's seat and the Senate seat in state are open for the first time since 1968. On the Democratic side, there's a big Senate race. The Senate primary comes down to sort of a core question, Reed. Do you energize the base with a progressive candidate, or do you win by going through the middle? And right now, you have Josh Turek, the state representative there. He surged of late after Vote Vets poured this politically inclined voter a voter group for veterans, poured in $10 million into his race. And so you're seeing it's still a pretty tight race. Elizabeth Warren, a progressive leader, endorsed Zach Walz, the progressive of the race. And of course, whoever wins will have to face Republican Ashley Hinton. It's wild that we're even talking about Iowa as a battleground, potential battleground state. It is one that Donald Trump won in 2024 by 13 points. Reed.
Fascinating. Fin Gómez, always good to talk to you. Politics is kind of my sport. My dad, I was a big disappointment, I think, because I wasn't into basketball, but I love politics. Thank you so much.